Welcome. I'm getting ready to teach you 3 hacks based on neuroscience that are going to make it easier and faster for you to learn to play the guitar. Just by understanding these concepts, you'll speed up your guitar process. But first, why listen to me? My name's Jake Galambus. I've been teaching guitar for 15 years, from the back of guitar stores, in high schools, at the college level, and most recently I run the online teaching community, Guitar Gym Pro. Plus, I've been practicing myself for 23 years, and I'm always trying to make it more efficient. There's so much cool music to learn. How do I learn most of it in the least amount of time? All right, here we go. The plan. I'm going to give you 3 parts. We're going to talk about eye priority, how your brain deals with your eyes and ears. We're going to talk about how sleeping is practice. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to explain it and draw that all out for you. And we're going to talk about how we break the speed barrier. So let's talk about eye priority. So our eyes are a later development evolutionarily than our ears are, right? They're technically more complicated, we would say, right? It's like a higher function. So what happens is your brain is going to prioritize visual elements over auditory elements. So I want you to think about things like if you have a metronome and it's flashing and you got a light that's happening and you're looking at the light, your brain is going to be looking at the light, not listening to the click. Now, you might be trying to focus on the click, but your brain is prioritizing the light. So I would say flip it over or use one that doesn't have a light or something like that, right? Put it behind you, whatever. So that kind of a thing. And then keep in mind, light and sound travel at different speeds. Your brain has to process those. Now, ultimately what will happen is just like your brain knows how to use 2 eyes or to listen with 2 ears, your brain will figure out how to deal with the light and the sound and process things so that it's dealing with what would be the latency in your brain processing. Sure, all those things. But when you're first starting out, that's not going to happen. And so your brain's processing the light, you're going with that, not what you're hearing, and then it's causing you to lose focus. All right, or a chord chart. So for example, if you're looking at a chord chart and you're trying to learn by ear, well, the second you see that it's a G chord, your brain is going like, oh, we know what chord that is because I know what G is. And so you're short-circuiting your ability to learn it by ear because you just saw something that was like, boom, I know what that is. All right, so what do we do? So close your eyes. Think about how many times you see a guitar player and they're soloing and their eyes are closed. And it's so that they're not focusing on the audience, or they're not focusing on looking at the band, or they're not focusing on the security guard, tackling somebody who's about to spill their beer, whatever it is. They're focused on the sound and what they're hearing, and so that they can focus on then what they're playing, what they're hearing in their mind's ear and getting that out of their fingers. But that can help us even in the beginning when we're practicing. Playing something with our eyes closed is a totally different experience than playing it with our eyes open. All right, sleeping is practice. Stick with me on this one. You don't need to make progress while you practice. You actually can't make progress while you practice, right? You make progress while you sleep. Now, that sounds a little crazy, but let me explain. It's based on what you practiced earlier that day. So if you don't practice at all, you're not getting better at guitar while you sleep. But while you're practicing, you're not actually making the progress. And so think about going to the gym. You go to the gym, you do a bunch of deadlifts. You don't get stronger while you're doing the deadlifts at the gym. You get stronger when you eat, rest, sleep, and heal from what you did at the gym. Now, we're not healing muscles when we play guitar. That's actually a misnomer. People think, we're doing the same thing, but with smaller muscle groups. It's not the case. But what we are doing is we're remapping our brain. Our brain likes to see our middle finger and it likes to see our thumb. It's a grasping mechanism. It wants to grab things. It wants to hold things. It does not want our pinky to move one fret to a different string, or it's not used to it at least. So when we practice moving the pinky, your brain goes, oh, that must be more important than I thought it was. When you sleep, it's going to put that kind of a thing in long-term muscle memory. It's going to be easier the next day, or the next day, or the next day. Sometimes it does take a few days to take effect. It's, like I said, it's similar to the gym. So what do? We want to practice in the sweet spot where we've done enough repetitions that we've told our brain this thing is important, but not so much that we're just kind of wasting time. There's diminishing returns. Now, I find that sweet spot is between 90 seconds and 5 minutes, and it usually has to do with tempo. If we're playing something really fast and in 90 seconds we can do 20, 30 repetitions of it because it's a short lick and we're playing it really quick, a little We can play that really quickly. 90 seconds is probably plenty. If it's a longer lick that we're playing much more slowly, I might need to play it for 3 minutes, right? And if it's a longer chord progression, all the way to up to 5. And also practicing for those longer durations is good for our stamina. We want to be in that sweet spot. And then once we've hit that sweet spot, doing more on that same lick, if we can't play it any faster, it's not worth it. Come back the next day, start pushing that tempo a little harder. You got to give yourself that time for your brain to remap. All right, bonus tip. Let's say you're learning music today for a gig tonight, which I don't recommend, but have definitely done. Learn the songs in the morning and then take a nap before the gig. You're giving your brain time to put those things into long-term memory. You will be able to recall them much more effectively. Asking for a friend. All right, now we need to talk about breaking the speed barrier. A lot of times when we're playing things, we run up against trying to get from like a C to an F chord, and just getting our finger to do that is so difficult, right? And when we're strumming, we're able to get from C to G or C to D, but when we try to go to that F, it's just giving us trouble, right? So lack of speed is often a problem of perception, not of our musculature or what we can do. So what do we do? How do we change that perception? So when we're speeding up, we're going to jump 8 beats per minute at a time. So if we try to go up 1 beat per minute, I remember back when I was first learning guitar, it was kind of a popular thing, and maybe it still is. Oh, like I'm just going to increase 1 beat per minute every single day until I can do it. The problem is your brain never recategorizes the scale, lick, chord, whatever that you're learning to be something that you can do that fast. So eventually you just kind of hit a wall that you feel like, I can never get over this. I can never do the 1 more beat per minute. So if we jump up at 8s, it's usually like a good standard deviation higher than we were. And because of that, we reconceptualize what this lick sounds like, and it sounds new at this new tempo. All right, so there's another thing. Let's say you do hit a ceiling, even jumping at these 8 beats per minute. What you want to do is you want to play the lick, the chord change, whatever, 12 to 20 beats per minute faster than you can. Like you're at the tempo that's struggling, that's hard, jump 12 to 20 more beats per minute, and then go back to where you were stuck. Now, you're not going to play it well 12 to 20 beats. It's going to be even worse. But what's going to happen is your brain's going to have a new concept of what fast is for this lick. And when you slow down to where you were struggling before, maybe even 8 beats per minute slower than that, and start to push the tempo again, it's no longer going to feel as fast as it did. We're tricking our brain into perceiving this lick, this chord change, this idea in a new way. All right, if this was helpful, I have more free lessons just like this, along with a free community of other guitar players just like you. It's the best community online for guitar players, and it's free forever. Just join me at skool.com/guitar. That's school with a K.com/guitar, and I will leave a link down below so you can check it out. I look forward to seeing you there and playing more guitar together.